Hello everybody, my name is Ziggy and it is January 9th, 2024, and we are looking at our first real instance of severe weather, not just for the beginning of 2024, but our first real instance of severe weather in quite a few months. I think the last time we saw a decent severe weather risk was probably all the way back in September or August maybe. So, it's definitely been a very long time and we're starting off the year right in that regard. So, as you can see here, we're under an enhanced risk of severe storms, with the primary threat being a 10% chance or higher of hurricane force wind gusts within an embedded squall line coming our way. I will go over the dynamics and the forecast and what is leading all of this weather in just a moment. What we're looking at now is a national weather map, and as you can see, a very strong set of low pressure systems is over the Midwest and also into the Southeastern United States. This warm front that you see right here, where I'm highlighting with my mouse, lifted up over the southeast, and it is very warm outside today. It is going to be almost 80 degrees in some areas, even though it is the beginning of January. And that all that warm air helps create instability for thunderstorms to develop. And this powerful cold front, which I will show you the squall line associated with it in just a moment, is going to sweep through much of the southeast today, and it is expected that these storms will be able to put out near hurricane force gust or higher. So it's going to be a very interesting day. So I got the Weather Channel radar pulled up so we can see a bit more of a national picture here. You can see the center of the low pressure is probably situated somewhere about here, with a lot of snow up north because it's nice and cold, and then this squall line, where most of the thunderstorms are extending from the Gulf of Mexico about most of the way up through Georgia to about the Atlanta area. There's not a lot of lightning occurring up here. As you can see, most of it's occurring down south along this initial squall line. So what you're seeing here, though, is these little storm cells will occasionally pop out in front of the squall line. And we're going to go back a few hours to a tornado that rolled through the Panhandle, because at about 6 a.m. this morning, multiple supercells rolled onto the Florida Panhandle coast, and there was definitely tornado damage. I've been seeing it on Weather Nation all morning. So that is kind of the 1-2 punch of the system. As that warm front progresses forward, it brings the potential for some isolated supercells to form, and when they're out ahead of the squall line, they're more likely to develop into something because they're not really competing with anything else in the atmosphere. Organized squall lines like this are very powerful, but all those storms are competing for energy at once, so it's kind of unlikely that any particular one will stand out. That's what's dangerous about having supercells ahead of the main squall line associated with cold fronts. So what you're seeing on screen now is a velocity and reflectivity radar loop of a tornado that rolled north of Panama City and through much of the Florida Panhandle. At least that's how it looks on radar. Earlier this morning, came on shore at about 6 a.m., and the storm maintained form until about 8:30. So it's hard to say if a tornado was actually on the ground for that entire 2.5 hours. The answer is probably not. A lot of what we're seeing is probably the storm's rotating updraft. But what is known is there definitely was a tornado. Near the town of Mariana, there was trees down and reported along the interstate where the rotation went just east of the town, and there were multiple tornado debris signatures throughout the event. So I think there definitely was a tornado there. And this has been kind of the theme for today, and I'm going to flip over to a local radar and show you what's going on right now to show you that the atmosphere is ripe and prime for even more tornadoes. I don't know if this is going to last outside of the Panhandle, but yeah, it's already pretty scary out there. Alright, so what you're seeing now is the radar near Panama City, and as you just saw in that last clip, they had a tornado roll through this area just about 3 hours ago. And this was recorded, this radar scan is from about 40 minutes ago, so at around 8:40, 8:35, it says up there at the top. And you can see that, yeah, there's a hook echo right there, and that's right next to the radar. Look at that notch. That absolutely had to be rotation there. Look at that. But you can see that we have severe thunderstorms leading the line, mainly for 70 mile per hour wind gusts and quarter size hail. Again, hurricane force is 74 miles per hour. So this squall line is putting out possibly hurricane force wind gusts even without the risk of a tornado. And in a way, if the tornado isn't very big, straight line wind damage like that can be even more damaging, to a wider swath of land. But again, this radar loop was from 40 minutes ago, so let's put it back into motion and see how it played out, because I've been eyeballing this while making this video, and yeah, let's just take a look. Look at all these other cells. Look at that up there near Cottonwood, and then another hook echo starts to form. Like, this is so much going on at once. And initially what I was going to do with this video was I was going to include my analysis over the past few days. But as you can see, there's so much going on that I think it would just be easier if I focus on today for now, and I'll worry about the earlier parts of the video another time. Basically, there was just some other storm systems going on earlier in the week, and they've been forecasting this event for quite a few days, and seeing it come to fruition like this is, it's a little scary, I'm not gonna lie. I don't really know what to expect today. And in just a moment after one more radar scan, I'm going to show you the Cape maps and why I think this could possibly get even worse if the forecast stays true. Alright, so here we have the Cape map, which again, I've said this before, but for anyone who's new, Cape stands for Convective Available Potential Energy. It sounds like a lot, but really all it is just a measure of instability, which is, well, how unstable the atmosphere is, how likely it is to help support the development of supercell thunderstorms. So really, the numbers you see in red, the higher the number, the more likely it is that storms will be able to take advantage of that energy and strengthen. So here's the picture now, and you can see the squall line near Panama City. Right now it has only about 500 kilojoules of energy, which is pretty low. Usually you want severe thunderstorms to have at least 1,000 kilojoules of energy in Cape to be able to support strong updrafts and to keep strong storms going. But as you can see, that really has not been stopping the storm system from producing tornadoes, and that is because even though there has been very low Cape for most of the morning, because, you know, the sun hasn't been out to heat the earth, there's been a lot of low-level rotation and very strong winds up in the atmosphere that are help supporting these updrafts when they are able to form. But again, you've seen all this going on with very minimal amounts of Cape. So what's the forecast for later? Well, 2 hours out, you know, as the sun comes up, warms the atmosphere more, areas of 1,000 Cape or more are starting to show up over most of the Florida Peninsula. 4 hours out, as the line is approaching, an area of 1,500, which is more than sufficient enough to support strong updrafts. And then 6 hours, it's getting a little bit hard to see. Those areas in blue are areas where storms have to overcome usually negative atmospheric conditions to develop, and that is because cold air is swinging in behind the squall line because there's a cold front. So obviously no more thunderstorms are going to pop behind this line. It's probably just going to be rain. But as you can see over most of the Florida Peninsula, I could see 1,500 there, some of thousands. That's good energy for these storms to feed off of. And you can see out in the Gulf, like way down south near southern Florida, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000. This could bring strong storms to southern Florida as well. And like, similar to what happened in the Panhandle, the people that live along the coastline have to worry about supercell thunderstorms rolling on shore and like possibly already having waterspouts just ready to come plowing in through the ground. It's a very interesting situation. The last thing I want to talk about with this storm system that I feel like might end up getting overlooked because of the tornadoes when people come back to do retrospectives is the very strong wind field the storm has. As you can see right now, I'm using the IEM bot for Jacksonville, so obviously local storm reports. They've gotten non-thunderstorm wind gusts, right? We got 46 miles per hour, 42 miles per hour, 42 miles per hour, 43 miles per hour. These are above tropical storm strength occurring outside of thunderstorms. And here is a map of the United States. I turned off precipitation hazards, so there's no tornado watch or anything. This is all of the weather alerts for the United States. And all of this, like kind of like cardboard looking color here, this like brownish beige, whatever it is, this is all wind advisories. From Oklahoma and Texas all the way down to the southeast in Florida to the well, not really the Midwest, but I guess the northern South in Kentucky and Ohio, and then all the way up into the northeast in New York, into Vermont. And these darker ones here are high wind warnings, which are for obviously higher winds. Let's see if I can figure out how much these are for. Up to 60 mile per hour wind gusts, and I'm sure it is also like this along the coast, right? Yep, 65 mile per hour wind gusts. Some of these places are getting close to hurricane force. Let's see, check out my old home here in New York. What we got? 70 mile per hour wind gusts for Long Island, possibly. So even like outside of the tornadoes and the hail, like, you still have to just worry about possibly tropical storm force wind gusts outside of thunderstorms causing damage. This is why I've been sitting here thinking about this all morning. That this is already very impressive, but like, if this system occurred even in like March or April when there was more available instability from the Gulf of Mexico and other parts, like, this could be a complete nightmare. And I'm sure it will be a nightmare for a few people already, but like, it's just blowing my mind how impressive this storm is for so early in the year. Decided to take a look back at the radar because it's been a moment, and yep, that's 5 different tornado warnings active at once, along a severe thunderstorm warning on the squall line. This system is very much not messing around.
Hello everyone, thought I would come out here and get a little bit of a live shot. It's around 10:15 in the morning and I'm here at the Ronnie Van Zant Memorial Park. Rest in peace, Ronnie, as always. And, you know, it's very dreary outside. I'll adjust the camera in a moment to get a look at the sky, but it's very gray. The clouds are whipping around. I don't know if you can really see it too much behind me, but leaves are starting to go flying around. When I pulled in, like, a lot of dirt and dust was getting kicked up. Honestly, if I went down to the highway, I'm sure I'd see some pretty interesting things there. Oh, you see the leaves there? I don't know if that's showing up, but there's like hundreds of leaves just going along across the ground. But yeah, so I just wanted to come out here, kind of show y'all what conditions are looking like right now. I'm going to go ahead and get a look at the sky real quick. My partner's working today, so I'm manning the camera and doing all the weather stuff. Here comes a wind gust. Here you go. Really hasn't been anything too forceful. I don't think I've felt a wind gust over like probably 20 miles per hour just yet, but it's coming. And you can see that the sky is looking pretty dreary. The sun was peeking out for a little bit, but it went back away, which is probably for the better in terms of keeping the instability down. Less chance of severe storms, even though they're probably still going to happen. But yeah, so that's how it's looking right now. Let's see, hold on, got my anemometer. See if I can get any wind gusts. We can go out towards the field a little more. Not much coming back right now, like 10 to 15 miles per hour, nothing too interesting. There's people out here playing frisbee golf, and I'm like, how are you doing that? It's so windy. But yeah, I think that's about it for now. I'm gonna head back home. That's probably the last of the video I'm gonna do. Both like analyzing weather and also, you know, recording like out here until the storm actually gets here. Oh, here come the leaves. Here you go. So yeah, that's about it. The squall line is expected to come in through our area sometime between 2 and 4 in the afternoon. So I guess we'll see how that turns out. Alright, how do I look? I figured I could probably get better footage because I realized that the thunderstorm winds are coming out of the south. And I'm sure you can barely hear my voice right now. That's because the wind is pretty strong over here at the dam in Lake Asbury. So you can see the birds are kind of struggling to fly against the wind. The water is very choppy. Sorry if the camera's off angle. There's barely any room on the side of the road to stand. Alright, let's get some winds in. I'm getting a consistent 15 to 20 right now. Relative humidity at almost 100%. I would say it's because I'm on the water, but it also said that when I was at the park. So, very humid outside, and it feels it. It's not crazy warm, 72 degrees, but I don't know, for winter that is pretty above average. Alright, yeah, so I'm getting pretty consistent, like 15 to 20, give or take, 16, 17 mile per hour. I figured the houses and all the trees were like walking along the wind. I figured off the water it would be a lot easier to get better readings. And I feel like the weather today is very determined to take my hat. It's been trying to blow it off my head all day. Alright, 23. Can't really let go of the camera. Oh, here we go. 23. I'm going to stay for a few minutes. I want to see if I can get a 30 mile per hour wind gust. Here it comes, I guess. They tried taking my hat and the camera. I'm just gonna have to put it under the brim under my foot and hold on because I don't have anywhere to put it that I won't go flying. Alright. Still hovering in the teens right now. 22. Getting closer to 20 now, consistently. 20, 21. Holding 21. There you go. Water is getting very choppy down here. The sun is trying to poke out again as well. Like I said, in terms of not wanting severe storms, if that's what you want, the sun coming out is not good on a day like this. You can tell it's a very volatile atmosphere already. Like the squall line is still hours away, and we're still getting those gradient or non-thunderstorm winds from the low pressure system. It's about 71 degrees out there. Alright, I'll stay for a little longer. Like I said, I'm just out here to see if I can get interesting wind gusts, because at home it's blocked off a lot by home and school, so the wind gusts usually aren't very good there. I come to a more open area here. I'll do one more minute. I'm getting pretty consistent 20s. I haven't seen it go above 25 just yet. I'm sure it can, but yeah. Getting some raindrops in on occasion. I'm going to focus this back up a little more towards the clouds. I don't know how well it's coming through, but it is, clouds are just whipping by today. Oh, wait, hold on. Water's getting real choppy. There might be a good gust coming. It's actually lower than it's 20. Here we go. 22. 22. Come on. 22. No. Oh, there we go. 24, 59, 27, 28. This might be it. Hold on. We got to 28. Alright, I'll stay for a minute. Hold on, I'm gonna check see what's going on. There's a here why causing this. 22. Nowhere. We hopefully switch to. Yeah, it is showing some instances of gusty winds on radar nearby. There's not really like much shower activity. Can I even see the squall line yet? Yeah. There is a tornado warning for Tallahassee right now. That's not good. Alright, I think I'm going to get moving. I don't think I'm going to see anything too crazy out here, but we did get that gust of 28, like about 28 and a half, so there's that. Yep, I expect the storms probably to be here in the next 4 or 5 hours, so I'll see you then.
Alright, hello everyone. It is about 12 p.m. on January 9th, 2024. I'm back from doing my live shots, doing some editing, keeping up on the storm. And yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty big deal. So right now the squall line is between Tallahassee and Lake City, closer to Tallahassee. It's in the Big Bend region of Florida right now. So I say at the rate it's moving, it will probably be here between 2:30 to 4 p.m. That's my guess, and that seems to be the case because we are now under a tornado watch that says it will probably clear the area around 6 p.m. So I think to our area at about 2:30 to 4, I think is a pretty fair guess. But let's zoom out a little bit. You can't see the entire squall line in Geo2 Analyst like this because it's by radar sight, but let's just zoom out a little bit. So I checked on this in radar scope. This is about 362 miles. Now, the line isn't completely connected yet. There is a little bit of a gap. I don't know if the severe thunderstorms have to connect, like, technically, but I'm thinking that we could be looking at a derecho situation. And I don't think I've talked about derechos on this channel yet, so I will now. Basically, a derecho is a form of a squall line where severe thunderstorm wind gusts are required to be there of at least 58 miles per hour, generally across the entire line, and the line has to extend for over 240 miles. And right now, it's looking that if this storm continues to keep up its strength, which it's going to a more favorable atmosphere than it was this morning, I don't see why it wouldn't, we could be looking at a potential derecho situation across the southeast. There's been a lot less tornado warnings in the past few hours than there were earlier this morning, but there's a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings, and all of these include usually tags for 70 mile per hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail, along with mentioning that a tornado will not likely develop, but conditions are favorable for tornadoes to develop. Like all the way up from Florida, Georgia, now getting into South Carolina, and I'm not going to move the radar, but that might be getting up into North Carolina as well. It's looking like it's going to be a very active day very soon. The other thing I wanted to bring up was this tornado watch here, tornado watch number 5. So all 5 of the tornado watches for this year so far have come out of the storm, and there's probably going to be at least one more. And yeah, you can see here the risk categories: high risk for tornadoes, moderate for EF2 or stronger tornadoes, high for severe wind, moderate for winds in excess of 65 knots, which I think is around hurricane force or maybe 80 miles per hour, and then severe hail being kind of low. But this is a very rare occurrence here to see a high risk for tornadoes in part of a tornado watch and just like the general outlook on a storm. So yeah, very impressive. I'm a little nervous, but we'll see what happens. So I recorded the tornado watch audio, which I'm going to play now. I didn't want to just like pop it in case anybody didn't like that stuff. So here you go.
This watch includes the following counties in Florida: Clay, Flagler, Putnam, and St. John's, and the following marine locations: coastal waters from Fernandina Beach to Flagler Beach, out 20 nautical miles. Remember, a tornado watch means the conditions are favorable for the development of severe weather, including tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds in and close to the watch area. While severe weather may not be imminent, persons should remain alert for rapidly changing weather conditions and listen for later statements and possible warnings. Stay tuned to NOAA Weather Radio, commercial radio and television outlets, or internet sources for the latest severe weather information. Repeating, Tornado Watch number 5 has been issued until 6 p.m. for the following counties in Florida: Clay, Flagler, Putnam, and St. John's, and the following marine locations: coastal waters from Fernandina Beach to Flagler Beach, out 20 nautical miles.
Hey y'all, it's about 1 p.m., so probably the last of these types of updates I'm going to do before the line, and yep, storm's still looking pretty impressive. 2 separate tornado warnings now up in Georgia, and yep, I checked, this is extending into North Carolina. And we're starting to see, like, now that it's getting into that more unstable atmosphere, now not only are we dealing with the main squall line you see here, but these little pop-up storms are starting to show up ahead too. And these are the ones that could become potentially tornadic, even though they're going to have a very short window of time to do so before the cold front sweeps through. These are the ones I'm worried about for tornadoes. Like, honestly, a lot of these don't look really impressive, but this one has been kind of bubbling for a few minutes. Who knows? We're going to have to see.
I also think I smelled burning plastic after I stopped using it. I think I saw a flashlight. Yeah? I think so. I think that was a flash of lightning. Alright, the sky is like about to open up now. Yeah. that lightning strike was a warning. Uh-oh. There was a bright flash while I had my back turned, and then like nice big rumble of thunder, and then the wind started picking up. Uh-oh. It's coming. Oh fuck. That looked like it was really close. Uh-oh. I didn't like see the whole bolt because I was looking down my phone, but I saw it on personal vision. It looked big-ish, but the way the thunder came on, it like charged up like a good 10, 15 seconds. Like, it kept her. Okay. Damn. Yeah, no. So this is only the leading edge, and like the little rain showers and thunderstorms ahead of the squall line. The actual squall line is still probably like a good hour away. There was another flash. And like, I can't remember the last time I've heard a thunderstorm like that. It's been a minute. It's been a few months at least. Since September.
If I got out of there before shit started. Because I think if I would have left at 2, it would have been bad. It's only 2:03 and shit's about to pick up.
Okay, that's weird. I saw that flash on the screen, but somehow I didn't like see it in my peripheral. But, all right, I don't know how that works. I'm standing all the way away from the camera. Not gonna lie, I'm unsure how the lightning quick is. I was a little more confident in it earlier when there weren't all those extra embedded showers and storms ahead of the one. But then again, this is one of those showers and storms. It's putting out some lightning. So. Who knows? But the line itself is, I hope it actually manages to hold together. Thanks, Copper. Yep, cops pulling people over. Waste 30 minutes of my time in this mess. Yep. Trying to get a good angle, just like. Ooh, damn. I'd say that was a good angle. I don't know if I got the bolt, but. Six, 7 miles an hour. That's way too close. We heard the thunder almost like 2-3 seconds after the flash. That probably been 2 miles. I don't know. It seemed more like 4 or 5 seconds. Alright. Last bit of the squall line should be going through our area in the next 30 minutes to an hour. So, yep. Here we go. Last bit of the line is approaching. It's deceptively bright looking over there. We're going to adjust the camera angle real quick. I'm more confident in seeing lightning that way. Yeah, see? I don't know if it was bright there, but I'm glad that the camera's not light. Might be time to go inside. Get a little close. We're coming in now. There we go. I'm barely getting any wind. I'm just getting rain. Wow. I don't know. I said that was probably like close to 40. Close to 40. At least, I think. It's hard to say, but uh, just the way it starts to twist up right now, so like you're directing it, yeah, that's really strong. It's almost like the rain, what? It kind of like changed directions now. It's coming in like this, now it's coming out of the yeah. I know. The wind's changed direction. Look. Oh, it's spinning now. Oh god. Hold on. Uh, oh yeah, there we go. Yeah. Oh my god. Holy shit. What? Oh, yeah. The winds are changing directions really rapidly. Look, because now it's why is it coming out that way now? It was just it's been shifting directions. I'm so cold. Here comes more. Oh my god. Uh, I don't know. It's so cold. No. Listen to that. Ugh, okay. Yeah. Let's back up. Your cord might be really great. Uh, we'll see. Small price to pay. Just a USB cable. Wow. Yeah. I don't know if it's just because the storm is passing like kind of briefly under the radar, but like not rotation, but there is some dealing with it. Yeah. Probably not a tornado, but definitely powerful. Whew. All right. That was invigorating. Still got more to go. I think it comes to the wind. What? What? Look how fast it's going. Yours is stepping into it, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I did not. Yeah, you told me that. Alright. That's another one. Two other tornado warnings up in North Carolina. Yeah, so this line has really been active and producing severe weather all day.
Wow.
Since at the very least like 5 a.m. So it's been almost 12 full hours of severe weather. Plus, Came with a 1 bar an hour. I don't know if I want to try and plug it in back in out here.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'd let the cold dry. It was in water, standing water.
Oh shit! Hey, rotation after we had the veer and winds. The storm's past us now, but yeah. We should maybe go out front now. Uh-oh. Okay, so you can't really see much from here, but I'm now facing towards where a tornado-warned storm is. So this cell has just crossed the St. Johns River, and we're not going to go chasing after it, obviously.
It's going way too fast.
It's going at 80 miles per hour. We can't catch up to that, especially since we have to drive down San Jose at 25. But, yeah. So those rotating winds and stuff coming in different directions
that we were feeling earlier.
Right.
Like that moved on and possibly developed into a tornado.
Right.
Or at least
if there's not
tornado
a tornado on the ground, there's definitely a very strong.
There's significant rotation happening.
Yeah.
Like, you can watch the screenshots of it.
Oh my god. It's insane. Yeah, I'm saving that. Put it this part. Yeah, it's detecting winds of 99, 102 miles per hour. And this is about 1.7 thousand feet off of it. So, at the very least, there is a low rotating cloud base now. If there's not a tornado on the ground, it is either, very imminent or, I don't know, that's just not good. That's really bad.
It's definitely visible.
I
would say, you could probably see it at this point.
God. If I would have known that, let's go stay at the marina while we wait on the storm. But there is a hook. It's not a great one, but it's there.
Yeah.
Now let's see how it looks on the wall. Hasn't updated. I was going to say now it's less clear, but let's see. Radar indicated, so it's not confirmed yet. The storm's moving at 60 miles per hour. And it's going to go through the southeastern side of Jacksonville and all of the major beaches.
Wow.
So, wow.
You've been walking up there.
Nope. That's crazy because just 10 minutes earlier, if that rotation dropped 10 minutes earlier, that could have been over our house.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not looking as tight, but still pretty good there. It's widening, if anything, like this. Yeah. I think I'm going to get inside for now, because I don't really think we're going to be able to see much more from here, and also the camera is running very low. Might go commentate over the radar and see what's going on while I start transferring all these files to my computer from today. Oh, wow. I really hope there's not a tornado on the ground over there.
That was quite the storm, huh? Let's go over some of the big impacts that I personally noticed. As a disclaimer, I will not be going very in-depth into the potential tornado outbreak that occurred, due to there being very limited information currently available from the National Weather Service. Because the storm just hit yesterday. I don't want to just crap out information that hasn't been confirmed yet. What I will likely do, however, is cover the event in its own video at a later date, if enough tornadoes are confirmed by the National Weather Service to warrant a discussion. Let me know down below if you're interested in seeing that. So what impacts did the first coast region of Florida see from this powerful winter storm? Well, I think it's pretty safe to say that almost every resident of our area felt the effects of severe weather on Tuesday. The squall line was covered with severe thunderstorm warnings for most of its existence, and tornado warnings would continue to pepper the front of the line as it moved eastward. NWS Jacksonville issued a whopping 25 different severe thunderstorm warnings yesterday, along with a staggering 15 tornado warnings. This storm had our friends up in the Jacksonville area working overtime. So, with 40 different severe weather alerts, you'd think that our area saw a lot of damage. Well, surprisingly no, at least not that we've heard of just yet. Out of the nearly 40 storm reports the Storm Prediction Center received yesterday, 10 of them came from our local area. All of these 10 reports are wind-related and come from numerous local counties such as Duval, St. Johns, Marion, Alachua, and Putnam. However, no storm reports came out of Clay County. From what I saw driving around today, everything seems to be in pretty good shape. Now let's take a look at how the squall line progressed through our area. We start off at the 12 p.m. hour with our squall line looking much bigger than it did when it was traveling throughout the Panhandle. As this line and associated cold front moved inland, they ran into pockets of more unstable air. This helped aid in thunderstorm development ahead of the squall line. This could have contributed to the slight weakening the line faced as it moved through the Florida Peninsula, but the word weakening here is relative. The worst of the storm impacted our area between the hours of 3 and 4 p.m. As the main line cleared out of Clay County by 4:30, multiple small thunderstorms continued to trail in behind the squall line. I would occasionally hear rumbles of thunder or flashes of light after I came inside to begin editing this video, and I was unsure if I should go back outside to record it. As you saw in the video, our luck with lightning was not great this time around. All thunderstorms cleared out of the First Coast area by the 7 p.m. hour. Next up, I have a look at the velocity radar, and I wanted to show you guys what happened when I was mentioning that I thought that maybe there was a tornado trying to form overhead. As you can see on screen now as we approach the 4 p.m. hour, a king of the line began to form around Fruit Cove, very briefly, that rotation. And in the Baird community, which we will look at in just a minute, there were some people that thought that maybe a tornado had formed. And there was a tornado debris signature near that community. So let's take a look at the radar a little closer and see if we can try and deduce what happened. Alright, so initially I was just going to slap the velocity radar scan up on screen, like the loop, but I was like, I kind of want to break this down a little further. So I will throw that up in a minute, but let's take a look at the potential formation of this tornado that may have occurred in the Baird community. It has not been confirmed. So, taking you back to yesterday, if it would let me grab it, it is 3:30 right here in this radar scan. You can see a lot of strong winds coming towards the radar, because remember, these storms were moving eastward and northeastward. And these storms that were rocketing ahead of the squall line were moving at 85 miles per hour sometimes. That is incredible. So it's detecting a lot of strong winds in the atmosphere in this squall line. But at about 3:32, when I was outside recording, I noticed that the winds began to shift, and we started getting a wind gust directly out of the west, when the winds were coming out of the south mostly, and I was confused. And then the winds continued to shift directions multiple times over the next couple minutes. First the rain was coming from the southwest, then the west, then the northwest, and then it would go back. And sometimes it would change within like 20 to 30 second intervals. So that's why I said at first, is that a tornado? Because I was like, there's no reason the wind should be shifting rapidly like that. So as you go on, you can see nothing really yet over the next couple minutes as the storm passes through central Clay County. But you can see that it's starting to slow down and lose some of that forward momentum. And even though it is under the radar, you're seeing that winds are starting to move in the opposite direction. You see that? And then as it goes on, for the next couple minutes, it starts to develop this hook. It bends around that green area there, this is US Highway 17, north of Green Cove Springs. So right in here, there's that little notch. And you can see it start to curl up even more. And then in the next frame, boom! This could be a downburst. I do think it's possible that it could be a downburst due to how rapidly it just shows both like winds extending out rapidly on both ends, especially on the front end. These are winds in excess of like 70 to 80 miles per hour. And it really intensifies here over Fruit Cove, but then it kind of starts to broaden, and over the next couple minutes, it begins to fade. Here at 4:02 is where that tornado debris signature was picked up on the correlation coefficient radar. You can see that some of the storms up near Jacksonville kind of try to take on a similar, like, bit of a bend, but not quite like that one cell. So yeah, that is the breakdown of what I think could have been a potential tornado, if not maybe a downburst. You could tell, and I could tell from being out there recording that video, that the atmosphere was very rapidly changing in that moment. Something was going on. The last thing I want to discuss for today is the fact that we are not done with severe weather for this week. Remember how at the very beginning of this video I was talking about covering 2 other prior storm systems, but this one was proving that it really just needed its own video to breathe? I think you see why now. Something I plan on trying this year was monthly weather recaps for our area, covering notable storms and other events. So I think I'll save those 2 previous storms for that, because admittedly they were nowhere near as eventful as the January 9th storm. But what do you mean that we're not done with severe weather? Well, as of right now, Wednesday, January 10th, there is expected to be a very similar severe threat in the southeast on Thursday and Friday. Similar setup and everything. A powerful low pressure system causes a warm front to prime the atmosphere. Strong cold front follows and uses that energy to steamroll through the southeast. There's already another enhanced risk just north of our area for Friday. It looks like it's going to be a very busy weather year this year. But yeah, I think I've done enough talking for this video. I hope you enjoyed my commentary, my coverage, and my perspective on the storm. As I mentioned, as more NWS surveys and reports come in on the tornado events that we saw occur around here, and especially over in the Panhandle, I'll be able to put a video together explaining the impacts more clearly. The only reason I covered the potential tornado in the Bayard community in this video was because it was related and relevant to the footage we captured during the storm. Thank you all for joining me. Here's to another great year of chasing, tracking, and learning from what Mother Nature gives us every single day. Have a good day, y'all.